everyone for being here. Actually, yesterday we were rehearsing with Annie, and we were thinking that this is the fourth episode that we're having together, and seeing such amazing audience, it's just great. So thank you for bear with us till now, and I hope you are enjoying what we are doing here. So as a bit said, this is where we are. So in the previous session, just for people that maybe are new in this format, we cover how to build a very simple agent with ADK. And then we showed you how you can connect these agents with external APIs using tools and MCP. And we also shows you how you can use ADK to evaluate. And in the last session that we had a couple of weeks ago, we also discussed how you can build multi-agent system. So at this point, let's assume that you have a very simple agent, right? That you build maybe using ADK, maybe using another framework, and it runs locally, and you're happy with that, and you're so excited about your agent that now what you want to do is that taking this agent from your local laptop and open it to friends, or if you have a startup or you're running some business, other users or customers. So when you want to, in order to do that, in order to take your agent from your local laptop and deploy as a scalable application, you need to take care of some of the aspects that with Danny we briefly touched in the previous session, but today we are gonna kind of address them. And that's why we want to cover how you can deploy agents in production, but essentially scale them using one of the service that we provide on Vertex AI, which is our platform for building also agentic application. And the service is called Vertex AI Agent Engine. So today we're going to talk about how Agent Engine will allow you to scale your agent quickly and easily, and make it them accessible to other users. So at this point, I just want to clarify, but why I need an agent engine? So why I need a kind of a platform to scale my agents on cloud? And the idea is essentially in this representation. So to be completely honest, if you don't have a managed platform, or if you don't build a platform, let's say, so that will allows you to handle this agent, you have to figure it out several things. So let's assume that you write your agent code using whatever framework that you like, ADK, LangGraph, doesn't matter. You need to take this agent, and then you need to kind of wrap the agent in an API that will allows you to expose these agents. So you can use FastAPI, you can use whatever framework that you like. And then once you wrap the agent around this API, you need to create a Docker image, right, to containerize it, to make it like a microservices that you can deploy everywhere. And then once you package this agent, you need also figuring it out the infrastructure that is needed in order to serve this agent and scale it. So, and these are all the aspects that you need to consider just to deploy the agent. After you deploy the agent, there are also other elements that you need to keep in mind. Like, for example, okay, once the agent is deployed, you want to monitor the agent. So you want to know how fast is the agent in generating the response to your users, as well as is the agent good enough in picking the right tools and generating the right response depending on the request that you receive. And there are other aspects related to that. So all these components that I'm just saying, all these tasks, it creates a lot of friction in the journey that you need to cover to take your agent from your local laptop and scaling to production. So that's why, in order to solve this issue, we on Vertex AI introduce Agent Engine. So essentially, with Agent Engine, we provide you SDK that will allow you to not only create, an endpoint that will host your agent, but it is going to be an endpoint where some of the services that will allow you to monitor the endpoint, to evaluate the agents that you are going to deploy, is all these aspects that are going to be managed for you. So this is just it gives you an idea of why you may want to consider a managed engine. So Bill already introduced us, so I will skip this slide, but I just want to say that as a DevRel on Google Cloud, together with Annie, we help communities like you to adopt services like Vertex AI Agent Engine in different ways. So with that being said, this is the agenda. So we are going to give you an introduction on Agent Engine, and then we are going to show you how with Agent Engine, you will be able to handle all the operation around your agent in order to scale it. And then we will wrap up and we will try to address some of the questions that you might have. As always, this is an hands-on session. So be sure that you scan this QR code or you go to this Agentic Lab 0 link. So Annie, we will guide you on how to get your credit in order to use all the services that we are going to show you today. So again, Annie, she will cover this in the first lab. With that being said, let's start, and let me give you an introduction on Vertex AI Agent Engine. So what is Vertex AI Agent Engine? Agent Engine is a comprehensive platform that essentially will allow you to support any agentic framework that you have. That's why, today we're going to show you how to deploy ADK agents on Agent Engine, but if you are building agents with LangGraph, Crew AI, Llama Index, and whatever other framework that you have, this platform will support them and will allow you to deploy them. As a platform, is completely open, and it not only gives you, a runtime that will allow you to run your agent, but it provides you some of the managed services that will manage aspects like short-term memory, long-term memory of your agent, as well as observability that you need once the agent goes to production, and the evaluation. Once you deploy your agent in Agent Engine, then it's up to you. You can build your own, custom interface for your users, or if you already are on Google Cloud and you already have some business user and you don't want to spend time in building your own custom UI, you can, register your agent in what is called agent space, which we are not going to cover today. But essentially, it's a nice interface to allow business user to use every day the agents that you are going to build. So this gives you an overall picture of Vertex AI Agent Engine. Now, using Agent Engine, it's pretty straightforward. So you develop your agent, and then once you develop your agent, all you need to do is using the Agent Engine SDK to deploy the agent and create an endpoint on Agent Engine. Once the agent gets deployed, you can simply query your agent, and we support multiple methods to query your agent, including the streaming method, so you can receive a response in streaming. And of course, Vertex AI Agent Engine is not like a black box engine. So it provides you some API that will allow you to control the agents that you deploy, so list them and managing them on the platform. So these are the steps that essentially you need to cover in order to deploy an agent that you develop locally to Vertex AI Agent Engine. But now let's see how to do that. And I invite Annie on to jump in the first lab.
Sure. Yeah. So before we get started, as always, for those of you who attend previous session, you may be familiar with it. Like, let's set up our credits and set up our billing account. For those of you who are here previously, you might notice that you cannot redeem the billing account from the link. So you can use this new link over here. That is Google/AI Camp 4. Ivan, can I take over the screen?
Yes. There you go.
All right. So if you open this link, you saw this redeem the credits. So I'll just walk you through the step by step. How many of you already redeemed it? Oh, I saw some up. So you guys already know the trick. All right. Show me the link again. If you saw in the chat, this is over here. Google/AI Cap 4. So now I will create a new project. So I select the project on the right top. There's a new project. I create a new project with a name I want and no organization as a location. And I'll create this. Cool. So I successfully creating this project. I will select this project over here. And I'll go to the building part in this project, making sure this project selector is your project and the building part. So here you're saying, oh, this project has no building, and this will link. So you will need to link to the building account you just redeemed over here, like this. So now you successfully link this project. All right. So we're clicking this Google Cloud Console over here, and you have your project ID, and that's what you need for today's lab. So for today's lab, we'll go to Google/Agent Engine. I will send this link to the chat. Oh, repeat the creating project. Jason wanna see creating project. So for creating project, in this Google Cloud Console on the right top, there's a new project button, and then you can creating the project over here. Yeah, I hope Jason, you see this. All right, so I'll open this lab. I'll put the link to for the lab in the chat over here. And we're actually going to deploy our agent in this lab. Is that excited? Anyone? So you hear Ivan introduce how your what is the theory. So now you're going to actually deploy your agent to Agent Engine. So as always, let's install our library and do all the setup at the very beginning. If you saw some pop-up, like have some warning, like it should be safe to run this notebook. Don't worry about it if you saw any warning. And also, if you have any question with it, just put it in the chat. I will check the chat message if you have any question running this. So while we're waiting for the notebook to set up the environment, install the library, I can walk you through this notebook. So our whole session today, we're using this one notebook. And you may have multiple links, but the link just go to a different section of this notebook. So making sure you keep this notebook open, and we will go through each part one by one. If you saw this error message, it's okay, just ignore that. And let's import the necessary library. So for our first agent we want to deploy, it's a trip planner. For those of you who are here for the first time, you probably remember we've been using trip planner as an example multiple times. So we want to plan trip. In this case, I want to have an agent that is able to plan trip to give you some travel attraction, and the restaurant recommendation. So to do that, we have two custom tool over here. So here we are trying to using Python to connecting to by using this by creating this Python function, we're connecting to this mock database to getting the travel attraction and restaurant attraction, restaurant recommendation. And then we have the agent that is using the tool we're building. And we put those two agents and the sub-agent for our trip coordinate agent over here. So this is the agent we want to create it. The reason I want to walk you through this tool is later on at the very end, you're going to see how we're going to evaluate those tools. Okay, let's see. To check the status over here. Yeah, it's successfully import. So over here, making sure you put your project ID over here. So go to your Google Cloud Console over here. You have the project ID. So copy this project ID, making sure this is project ID, not project number. So just replace this ID over here and then just run this part. So you may say, oh, can you allow this notebook to access your Google credential? You just click yes to authorize. So maybe it's not showing up on the screen, but I'm currently doing the, I'm currently off my notebook right now. So yeah, it's authenticate successfully. And then it's trying to grant all the permission for what has AI so that later on we can use it. I'm gonna check the chat message to see if anyone's okay. Can everyone following? Oh, so yeah, I don't see any question right now. So I assume everyone are enjoying having fun running this notebook. Cool. Thanks for sum up. And yeah, so coming back to the agent we want to deploy, over here, we have this trip coordinator agent that has two sub-agents. One is to finding the attraction. Another is finding the restaurant. So with this trip coordinator agent, to deploy it, this is very simple. Like just you simply wrap it with agent engine.create, and you put the agent you want to create over here. And that's all you need to create to deploy the agent to agent engine. Very simple at that. And let's go back to check. Oh, still trying to grant the permission over here. Okay. Yeah. Let me check is it Gmail? Okay. Yeah, if you have any question, just put it into the chat message and I will pay attention. Is everyone still like running this together with me, waiting? Cool. Yeah, finally we are successfully granted permission, and then we're trying to creating the storage bucket and set up SDK. Yeah, if you have any question with the notebook so far, for those of you who are here for the previous session, you're probably familiar with ADK, how we create agent. Yeah, for those of you who are here first time, you can feel free to put your question in the chat. Yeah, it's taking a while. Okay, so another thing I want to share is if you notice that for this create activity agent, we are using this a Flash model. And for the coordinator agent, we are using the Pro model. So when in real life, when you want to create an agent, it is oftentimes if you want to, you can really choose the model based on your need. If you want to get a quick answer, you can use Flash model. If you usually for the call the orchestrator, like coordinator agent, usually you want them to be able to do the reasoning. So Pro model is usually a good choice. Okay, let me check. Oh, another thing is, oh, okay, still creating. Hey, Ivan, are we able to see the log for this?
Yeah, you should be able to see the log in the.
Let's check. So if we go to the Google Cloud Console over here, and then currently we're selecting this project. And if we search Log Explorer over here, you should be able to see what's happening behind the scene.
Yeah, it's enabling the API and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first time it takes some time just because what is happening is that we are setting the project is new, so we are setting the infrastructure in order to run the entire lab, and you will see as well when we are going to create the when we are going to deploy the agent on reasoning engine, it will require some time as well. But that's because again we are essentially with an API call, we are provisioning for you a scalable infrastructure. So the first time, because the project is new, it will require some time. But after that, like deploying it is going to be super fast.
Yeah. Also later on, you're gonna see that it is so cool that in this code, you don't you don't write any log, or you don't write any like you don't like manually adding any tracing or any log, but you're able to see everything behind the scenes. So which we're gonna show you really soon. Cool. So now it's successfully creating the storage. Let's deploy this first agent over here. So I will just let this deployment running while I will switch back to my slide. All right. So let's move on to this very important topic, agent engine and ops. How do we manage the agent in real conversation? And let's start with this question, the goldfish challenge. You know, the goldfish, usually they have, you know, they're known as only 3-second memory. So if you're asking agent, in this time, you can see on the right hand, like it has a tool with a weather tool. So that means this agent is able to do like know the weather for you. And then if you use asking, hey, my name is Annie, I want to know the weather in San Francisco. So the agent is able to answer, hello, Annie, the weather in San Francisco is this, it looks fine. But what happened next is where the golden fish memory strikes. So now in the second turn, if you ask a very, very simple question, what is my name? And then the agent cannot remember who it was just talking to. So it probably answers, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. This simple question, like even with a powerful model, whatever model you're trying to use with a powerful model, agent is not able to answer that question because it doesn't have memory for what happened in the previous turn. So how to solve this challenge, the goldfish challenge? And then, so the solution we're trying to have is agent engine session. So the session, it should hold user's identity, previous question, and also all the ongoing thread of conversation. And a session get injected to the context for the agent so that your conversation is not starting from scratch. You can imagine the session is like a notebook. So agents jot down on what's happening in the previous conversation, the identity, and then for the later on, like agent just able to check this notebook to have this memory. In this agent engine session, the session is like the memory box to store the previous conversation history, what you said, when you said that. Also, they help maintain the state. So the agent remember the context across the turn, and also eliminate the need to for use external database or extra data or extra API to manage things yourself. And with session, if you ask the question like, what is my name? And now the agent is able to remember my name is Annie. And we can see that in the slab over here. And just note that if you have this link, Google/query agent, it will stay in the same notebook, but go to the next section. So if you already have your notebook open, you don't have to use this link. But for those of you who join in the middle, you can use this link to directly go to this section. But if you want to make it work, you have to run everything from beginning. And I will stop sharing and coming back to check my deployment status. Okay. So I have some error over here. Yvonne, do you have an error on your side?
Yeah, I start deploying it as well.
Okay.
So let me share my screen.
Okay. For those of you who are running it, do you have the same error? I'm trying to see. Doesn't recognize this case.
Yeah, in my case, it's deploying. One thing that yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's a permission issue. So maybe I will go to Cloud Console. Yeah, Ivan, can I take over the screen?
Yeah, go for it. You can also check the log, by the way, as you were doing before.
Yeah, can you unshare your screen? So maybe
Yeah.
screen got pinged. Cool. So think if you go to what has AI over here, you should be able to enable all the related API. Maybe I missed a setup for the. So if you search what has AI in your Google Cloud Console, and then in the dashboard over here, trying to enable all the recommend API over here. So because we have some permission issue, yeah, maybe I didn't enable all the permission, or maybe it takes time for the permission to kick in. So yeah, for those of you who are running into the same issue, you can try go to the what has AI thing and then try rerun the deployment.
Yeah, and Annie, just show the logging part. So people that are that are running again and they face some issue, they can monitor what is happening behind the scenes. So once you go.
The link or yeah, if you want to see the log, there's a link, or you can directly search the log. Okay, so you can see this is what's happening over here. It's trying to verify things, polling complete. So it looks like it is.
Yeah, you are deploying.
Yeah.
Can you Annie, can you show again how to enable the API? Jason and Paloma, they are trying to catch up with that.
Sure. Yeah. So if you go to the what has AI over here, if you on the Google Cloud Console search what has AI, and then in Google what has AI here, you click dashboard over here, and then over here you just click enable all recommended API. There's a button over here. It might take a while for it to reflect, or it might reflect right away. It really depends. Yeah, so making sure you're clicking this and then try redo this. And again, you can monitor things in Logs Explorer or clicking this link. And here, it's trying to downloading things. So it looks like it is working. It looks like I successfully. Oh, see, it is trying to build. It looks like it is working. So while we are checking what's happening behind the scene, I can also walk you through for the second part. Like I just talked about the golden fish memory. In fact, Ivan just told me golden fish don't have short-term memory. It does have memory, but whatever. And here, this is the helper function for clean interact. This is a help function. Just I guess I cannot run this because it is waiting, but I will try run this later. But yeah, over here, you can see the first example over here. We are try the stateless query. In this case, when you do the string query, you just simply pass the message and user ID. There is no session here. So the first turn is you're asking, hey, my name is Annie, plan a day in San Francisco. And the second query is, what is my name? So we're gonna see without the session, without the memory, what's the result for the streaming for the query. And this is a example that with a session. So here you're creating a session over here. And with a session you created, you pass it to the stream query. So you can see that they're all using the, so for the first three query, they're all using the same session. So the question is, my name is Annie, I want to plan the trip. And the next, you have a follow-up question, a follow-up query, and lastly, it is asking, what is my name? So if they're having if they store everything in the session, the agent is supposed to remember my name is Annie. But if you're using a different session over here and asking the same question, what is my name? because they store in a different session, it's expected that agent does not have memory for user's identity in this case. But we're going to see that once we deploy and run it. Oh, cool. So now I successfully deploy it. To verify it, you can go to Google Cloud Console over here and research agent engine. Research agent engine over here. So you can see this is the agent you just deployed over here. And here we have the query. And let's go back to run them. Looks like the help function has been run. And let's try this query without a session. Without a session, like what I said, they don't have the memory. Okay, and let me check the arrow. Let me check the chat. So Ari said you got a following error, building account not open. So for Ari, making sure you redeem this. Making sure you redeem this credit first, and then in your Google Cloud Console or over here, if you're selecting this project and then on the left-hand side, open the billing, and then making sure you successfully link your billing to your project. So maybe you're not redeeming the credit successfully, or maybe you're not linked the billing, this billing to your project. So you can try it. Okay, I'm going back to this. Yeah, you can see that the first turn, like my name is Annie, plan a day, and the second turn is what is my name? It is not able to access the personal information. So let's see what happened if we are running this visa session, and the visa session, or we're in a different session. As we expect. So at the first turn, user asking, my name is Annie, I want to plan a trip. Yeah, and the second turn is find a famous history site there. So even though I don't tell agent where is the location, I just say there, and the agent is able to know it should be in Rome. And also, what is my name? Agents know my name is Annie. And with a different session, agent said, oh, sorry, I cannot access the thing. So how to resolve that? I'm gonna pass it to Ivan to explain the theory for the next part.
Thank you, Annie. So let me present my screen. And in the meantime, Annie, just double check the chat so you can help people.
Sure.
Okay. So Annie just explained you the concept of essentially working memory or short-term memory, right? So, and this is this essentially allows you to have an agent that generates some response that are in some sense grounded with the flow of the conversation that you are having with your agent. The problem is there are two problems that we want to highlight in using this session or this turn-to-turn memory. The first one is as the conversation keeps going, so it gets longer, the session history, so all the interaction that you're having with your agent, they will keep growing, right? And eventually, because the LLMs that is powering your agent as a context that is finite, then at some point you will run out of token essentially. But even if you use model like Gemini, that they have like a very large context window, like if you keep stuffing your history in the context window, this will lead, first of all, higher cost because you're essentially you're asking the model to process a large amount of tokens, and second, latency, because of course, like it's more information that you're passing in the API, and finally, a worse performance because it's like the agent get confused with respect to all the information that it needs to go through in order to answer a specific question on a particular point in time with respect to the conversation that you're having with the agent. This is the first challenge. The second challenge, that's something that Annie was kind of mentioning during the demo, is that when you start a completely new conversation with the agent, the session itself, it will be again empty. And so if you ask like a question, what's my name? Again, because the session is empty, the agent will go back to that, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. So the sessions are tied with the single conversation that you're having, and they don't provide, persistent long-term memory. So how do you solve this? Essentially, you need to build yourself a long-term memory. Now, building a long-term memory is pretty challenging. It's pretty challenging because you need to figure it out how to extract relevant information from the conversation that you're having, as well as during the conversation you may repeat some piece of information. So you don't want to store repeated information. You just want to store one piece of that information that is the most relevant one. And then you also need a mechanism that once you create this memory gets updated, and the agent can retrieve this memory, collect this memory only when it's needed. So all this process is pretty, it's an engineering challenge that as a Vertex AI team, we are trying to solve. And that's why we introduce the memory bank. So the memory bank, it's a managed services that will allow you to store memories in a persistent way without you managing, all these process that I just finished to describe. Behind the scene, we use an LLM that will extract and consolidate user facts from the conversation that you're having, so from each session that you're having. And then it provides a very simple, but also similarity-based retrieval mechanism, so the agent can retrieve the meaningful memories from memory bank and generate personalized response. So with memory bank, when a new conversation starts, let's say conversation B, when you ask what's my name, the agent will use the memory to retrieve the fact that the username in the case of Annie is Annie, and she spent a weekend in San Francisco, and so the agent will generate a personalized response saying, hey, I know your name, hi Annie, how was your weekend in San Francisco? So as you can see, this again, it will allow you not to keep repeating the same things to the agent, as well as have a better user experience, because it's a personalized experience. So with that being said, let's jump into the demo, and let me show you how you can use the memory bank. Okay. So again, in this case, in order to enable memory in an ADK agent, first of all you need to do is passing the preload memory tool, which essentially will allow the agent to retrieve memories from the memory bank when it's needed. So this is one thing. And then the other thing that you need to do is that defining the memory as a service that the agent can access to in order to use it along the conversation that is going to have with the agent. So with respect to what we have showed you before, in this case, together with the session services, we are also going to pass the memory bank services. And once you have done this, the rest is pretty much similar to what you were doing before. So you define the runner that will essentially orchestrate the interaction with your agent, and then you can start interacting with it in several turns. So let's try it. Let's try to run this. So in this case, like the first turn, I'm just saying, hey, how are you? Can you help me to plan trip? Please remember that I'm a vegetarian. And so this is the first interaction that we have with the agent and the first conversation. So let's say that we have a conversation with a single turn. Then we end the conversation, and then let's assume that now we create a new conversation with the agent. And in this case, we just say, hey, great. Now you can plan a weekend trip to the Napa Valley. And in this new conversation with the agent, we expect that because the agent has memory that I am vegetarian, it will customize the weekend dinner trip plan for me. And in fact, as you can see, like the agent took some vegetarian option for me, as you can see here, and as you can see here, for example, also here in the dinner. So this gives you an idea of how powerful it is to, using memory with your agent, as well as how straightforward it is enabling memory thanks to the integration that the ADK has with the Vertex AI memory bank, which is this services on agent engine. So with that being said, let's go back on the presentation, and up to you, I need to explain the tracing part.
Sure. So for those of you who are doing together, making sure you deploy this so that later on we can see the result from your notebook. Otherwise, you might have to wait for the deployment again. All right, so I will share my screen for the next part. Yeah, for those of you who are, watching us troubleshooting, you know that we were checking this logging, checking the what's happening behind the scene. So that's how powerful this agent engine is, because you have this observability. So before we jump into the detail, you can see we have, I want to quickly mention, we have monitoring and observability. So monitoring is like a dashboard in your car. It shows speed, or like warning light. So it's answer the question like, oh, is everything operating as expected? And then for observability, it's like your mechanism. It's explain something, whether something goes wrong, or if you need to ask, what did this happen, or how does this happen? The observability give you more detail about what's happening behind the scene. So the question is, why is this important for agent? And you may already know from our previous case that, first of all, it helps you understanding the behavior. So when we couldn't deploy the agent previously in the notebook, we're trying to check what's going on in a log. So it definitely helps you understanding the behavior that help you debug. And secondly, is it help you to improve your performance and reliability. It's not like the traditional, so for the traditional software, you have the if then check, you have the tracing stack. But for agent, usually you need to understanding what tool it is using, when to use this tool, what is the result for the tool thing, and how long it takes, right? So if it's observability with detail, if you're understanding what happened behind the scene, it helps you to optimize the performance reliability of the agent. And lastly, of course, it helps you to keep improving, build better agent and faster. So for agent engine, firstly, you have tools like Trace UI to understanding when the tool is being used, what is the tool call, and how the LLM completion. You can see how long this model is taking to making the tool selection, and whether the tool call is consistently slow or any failure is happening. And you also have this. You can also collect the matrix and have all the to have the matrix understanding your billing charge, and so that you can control your budget. And let me show you in Agent Engine to see how to check those metrics, how to see the tracing, how to see the logging. So again, if you go to this link, you will go to the next part of your notebook. But if you have the notebook already open, just stay in that notebook and we can go to the next part together. And I will share my screen for this part. Yeah, just quick reminder that previously we deployed this to the agent engine and trying to query the remote engine over here. So here we are querying trying to use. So the reason I'm querying this because we want to see what's happening behind the scene. And we're asking the question like, for the future trip, remember I'm vegetarian, and back suggest some dinner option, and because the agent remember it's vegetarian, so it should tailor the suggestion based on users' preference. And let's go to the agent engine tracing. So to do that, let's first go to Google Cloud Console over here and search Agent Engine. And you can see we have agent engine over here. Those are 2 agents we just deployed. So we have this trip planner basic, and we also have this trip planner memory over here. So here you have all the dashboard. Because it takes a while for it to reflect, we can check the trip planner basic, because we already queried the trip planner basic over here. And to see the tracing, I want to remind you that you can see there's a tracing button over here, but it won't go to the tracing directly. So I would suggest you to search Trace Explorer over here. And here you can open the tracing. Right now, this still take a while to load, so I can demo you another account that I already have the tracing while we're waiting for this to show up. Okay. Let me check this other one. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so this is another account I was using to test that's doing the exactly same thing before. And just to demo, if you search tracing over here, Trace Explorer over here, and you can open the tracing, and I can open one called LLM, so you can see exactly what time it is being called, how long it is being called for the agent running. And similarly, we can check over here. This is what happened behind the scene. Also, a quick, if you search agent engine over here, I also want to point it out that for this trip planner, we deployed 2 agents, right? The first is trip planner, another is a trip planner memory. So this is the same notebook in another account. Just want to quickly show you that for the first agent, we deployed this trip agent over here. We simply deploy it with no tracing. So you just put it agent.create. For the second agent we deployed with this memory thing, you deployed with tracing enabled, like over here. We are doing this by enable tracing equal to true and wrap it with ADK app. So that's how you enable all the tracing in Agent Engine. I'm gonna pass it back to Ivan for the next part.
Thank you, Annie. So I hope I'm seeing a lot of engagement. So it means that people are doing a good job, and this is cool. But feel free to keep asking questions. It's very interesting to know from you. Like, what are you thinking about what we are presenting? So with that being said, so right now we talk about monitoring observability. So let's assume that at this point, you take your agent, you deploy an agent engine. Your agent now is capable not only to follow you along the conversation, but also generating these personalized answers because you enabled memory, right? So at some point, you may want to use all these, logs that Annie was showing you to evaluate how good is the agent, both in, responding. So how fast, for example, is the agent responding, as well as is the agent, generate the response that you expect, as well as is the agent capable of choosing the right tools? So all these aspects, essentially, they go in the bucket of evaluating agents. Now, evaluating agents today is a very broad topic, and essentially is a multifaceted approach, which you not only want to evaluate the response and maybe if the agent picks the right tool, but you want to consider aspects related to operational metrics, memory, the reasoning capabilities of the agents, and also there are some elements related to responsible AI and safety. So at the end of the day, like, you really need a toolkit in order to evaluate an agent, and there are several methods that you can use in order to do that, and each of them they have some trade-offs. So, for example, if you leverage human evaluation, they will allow you to grasp some nuance from your agent, but they might be slow and sometimes expensive. If you switch on LLM as a judge, they are scalable, but depending on how the model has been trained, they can generate some biased evaluation, as well as you have automated metrics that are objective, usually are objective, but they may be limited in capturing the full picture. So again, at the end of the day, there is not one method that rules them all, and you really need again a set of these capabilities. And that's why we decided to provide a comprehensive evaluation services on Vertex AI. So with the GenAI evaluation service, you get evaluation metrics and observability metrics. So, and they are very comprehensive. They will allow you to evaluate the response from the agent, as well as the tools or the set of tools that the agent pick. And you can always provide additional metrics and customize them. And it will generate some evaluation result, both at the instance level, so per each interaction that the user is having with your agent, as well as at the aggregated level. So you have an overall picture of the agent itself, and how good is the agent in running this evaluation, acting, in production. So with that being said, let's run the last lab that we have for today. So share this. So as I said, we already deployed our agent. We kind of ready to evaluate it. So, and we provide you in this lab some pre-built metrics, some pre-built functions, that will allow you to collect the output that the agent generates, parse it, extract the response and the trajectory. So the tool that the agent calls in order to address a particular user request, and then pass this output in the GenAI evaluation SDK, so you can calculate some metrics. Of course, the output of the SDK, it would be a data frame in this case, and so you can build some report on top of it using within this notebook, but also using other visualization tools. So with that being said, this is just to explain those helper function, and this is kind of the structure that you need in order to run an evaluation with the GenAI evaluation service. So you have the prompt. So this is the user request, and then you have the reference trajectory. So the set of tools that you expect the agent calls in order to address this user request. So once you define your evaluation dataset, this is a very simple evaluation dataset just because we want to show the capability and be quick. You define which metrics you want to consider. So in this case, we are just evaluating the capability of the agents to pick the right tool and passing the right argument in the right order. So as well as we also want to evaluate what's the percentage of the required calls that the agent made with respect to the tool that we provide to it. So once you define the metrics, you need to wrap the evaluation dataset, the metrics, and associate to this evaluation task an experiment name. And once you have initiated the evaluation task, you can just use the evaluation method and run the evaluation. So let's do this. So as you see, once we run this evaluation task, it will create an experiment. And within the experiment, it will create an experiment run. And what is happening behind the scene is that it's using the agent that we just defined in order with the user input in order to generate the response and the tool called that the agent will make. And then with the response, the tool call that the agent made plus the expected trajectory, it will calculate the metrics that we defined. So it will take some time. If you click on the view experiment run, it should open a view in the Vertex AI experiment console. So the Vertex AI experiment is here, and this is the run that we are essentially we submitted. And here you have all the metrics related to the agent. So this is a nice visualization that you can have. These metrics are aggregated, so it gives you a picture of how good is the agent, in this case, in using tools. But as I was saying, like once the evaluation runs successfully, you also have some information at the instance level. So here you have per each user request, what happened behind the scene, the metrics that are calculated with respect to the one that you define. And they also provide some operational metrics. So how long it takes from the agent to generate the response and if the agent fails or not. And using this, you can also, visualize some, you can create some representation that will better, and that will allow you to better navigate these results. Cool. So with that, we conclude also the evaluation part. And I just want to tell you that what we show you today with Annie, of course, there are single components, but if we want to put everything together, this is kind of a high-level architecture that you may want to consider in order to put your agent in production. So you have your you have your components that will allow you to orchestrate the agent, the evaluation piece, the LLMs that you can choose, and all the observability services that we just discussed today, as well as when you go to production, you want to automate this process to releasing the agent to production. So you may want to have some CI/CD and the infrastructure as a code technologies. But the idea is this picture gives you an idea of all the components that at the end you would like to put together in order to automate this process of putting agent to production. And this picture, it represents a project that is open. It's called Agent Starter Pack. So we will share you the link. We do the link at the end of this session. But with that being said, I think it's time to wrap up. We are also 5 minutes late. So again, we start just discussing why you need an agent engine. Essentially the answer is it will take care of all the heavy lifting that otherwise you need to figure it out. You need to carry in order to put an agent in production. And with Vertex AI Agent Engine, this is something that may happen using a simple SDK as we discussed today. But the most important thing is that this agent engine, it will allow you to deploy and scale any agents that you will build. With that being said, it's time for scanner alert as always. So if you just take your time to take your smartphone off. And the first thing that I want to share is that if you want to get started with the agent engine and of course ADK, here you have the documentation. You can use them with LLMs if you don't want to read them. But yeah, these are the main entry point to learn more about these technologies. So 3, 2, 1. As well as what we share today is going to be there. Annie already gave you the link of the notebook, but there are so many samples that you can use. So this learning journey doesn't end. It does not end today. So you can go to these. You can use this QR code to get access to samples with ADK and Agent Engine. And finally, if you have further questions that you want us to answer, just feel free to reach out. Both me and Annie, we are pretty active on social media. And also we are in the Discord channel that Bill set for this event. So again, I hope you enjoyed this session, and I just want to thank you for being for your time and your attention and being here for this other event, and looking forward to wrap up everything to the last event that we are going to have in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, hope to see you guys in the last one in just next week. We're going to talk about A2A, like how do you connect different agent, like no matter they're on like ADK or different agent framework, or you have or it is on the agent engine. Like we're going to show you hands-on thing next one. I hope to see you guys next week so we can complete this journey together.